Do you remember, baby? Do you remember? Well, look at how it all turned out. I hope she cheats on you with a basketball player.
We have a very special guest joining us today on Primetime Local News. Amanda Marshall is here. Amanda, you've got lots on the go, and we have so much to talk about. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. Hi.
Well, let's talk about the single that's out right now, I Hope He Cheats. What an amazing song, and very cool just to listen to the lyrics. Tell me about this song.
This song was written by Marsha Ambrosius, who was one half of a very successful R&B duo out of the UK in the early aughts called Floetry, of which I was a big fan. And she recorded this song, I think in 2010, on one of her solo albums. I heard it several years later by accident. I heard it in a clothing store one day, and it just stopped me cold. And because I thought it was hilarious in the sort of the specificity of it. I hope she cheats on you with a basketball player. It was so vicious and so funny. And I went home and wrote a very different arrangement of it than Marsha's original arrangement. And I just loved it. And I loved it so much that it really served as sort of a catalyst for me re-examining the rest of the record that I had written in terms of lyrical content. And it was just funny. It made me laugh. And I thought it was great. So it kind of made me re-examine my own stuff. And that's why I wanted it to be the lead-off single, because it really encapsulates sort of the sound and the spirit of the whole record.
Now, it's been a while, Amanda, since you've kind of been back in full force on the music scene, and now you've got the album, you've got the tour. So is the album everything written by you? And tell me a little bit about the process with the new album, Heavy Lifting.
Yeah, the everything else on the record, absent Marsha's brilliance, was written and produced by me, which was a huge change for me. I made a record called Tuesday's Child in 1998, 99 with Don Was, who's a very famous producer, most famously produced Bonnie Raitt and the Rolling Stones. And I met Don through a soundtrack that I did, and he was a huge hero of mine. He was someone I had always wanted to work with. And about halfway through the making of the record, he said to me one day, you know, you will produce your own records. You could produce, and I really discounted it because at the time it seemed like a very sort of mysterious and kind of it seemed like a very other part of the job. And it wasn't until I was done with this that I realized, oh, hey, I guess I sort of did this. It was very organic. It happened very much by accident. I was recording over a very long period of time, mostly by myself, mostly at home. And before I knew it, I had produced the whole thing. So it happened very naturally. So I guess in a way he was right.
Now you have a tour coming up, and luckily you're coming to our neck of the woods here. You'll be in Edmonton and Calgary in June. How do you prepare for this tour? A lot of rehearsing, and did you have to get some new band members, or is it the same people from before? How do you get that all sorted after it's been a bit of a hiatus?
We have a few new members. Yeah, we do. We have a couple of new members. It's funny because people sort of filter in and filter out. It happens a lot in every area of the music business, especially in the touring world. You see a lot of the same people. There's a lot of crossover. You see a lot of, in the time that I've spent opening for different people, opening for sort of larger acts, you run into a lot of the same like backing band members, and you think, oh, that guy was working with like Lionel Richie last week. Now he's with Katy Perry, or he was working with Beyonce, and now she's working with whoever. So we do have some new members, but we also have a lot of people. There's a lot of people in my band who've been with me for a really long time. I always joke that my drummer has been like staring at my behind for like 20 years. Yeah, so it has just been such a revelation to, get back out. I mean, for everybody, it's been a revelation to get back out in the world, period. But to be back doing something that I love with people that I really love being around and just fooling around and having fun has been amazing. And the enthusiasm with which this has been received is stunning to me. It's really been overwhelming. And the messages and text messages and emails that I'm getting have been just amazing. It's really been, I don't know how to describe it. It's really gratifying.
And it has been a long time for a lot of artists, like you said, even through the pandemic, and that was a challenge on its own. So do you really think that there's still people out there that are just so hungry for seeing artists like yourself live again and just so excited to be in that environment?
I do. I really do. And I'm somebody who has a tremendous amount of faith in the audience. I think people really gravitate towards authenticity. I think people can tell, there is room for manipulation in all forms of art. There's room for manipulation in music and, you know, manipulation in photography and stuff like that. But I do think people can tell the difference mostly in a live performance. People can tell, they can suss out authenticity. And that's something that I have always, you know, that kind of comes naturally to me. I don't really know how to do it any other way. And that's really been a huge part of getting this record out, because this record, the biggest compliment that I have gotten so far is, it sounds like you, but now. And that's exactly what I was striving for. The record is not, we're not chasing trends. It is not it's not a manipulated record. It's very, very authentic. And that carries over 100% into every live show that we do.
You have the dates set out now, Amanda, for the tour. Is there a thought of maybe expansion and continuing on adding some more dates after you see how this part of it goes?
Yeah, we'll see. We will definitely see. This tour, actually, this whole process came about as a run because of a run of shows that we did in 2017, which seems like a lifetime ago now. But we did a run of shows in the summer of 2017, one of which actually I think brought us to Alberta, and we that was a huge sort of revelation to me. I was like, oh, I forgot how much fun this is. This is great. And it was a real part of kickstarting the whole process. And by the time we finished the record, the pandemic had just started. So we sort of delayed it because I was like, well, nobody's really waiting. Let's wait and, you know, let's wait and let the world sort of calm down a little bit. So yeah, I'm very fluid. You know, I didn't come into this with any expectation. The reception has been overwhelming. So we'll see what happens over the summer, and we'll see where we are in the fall. I anticipate that we're probably going to be doing some more stuff. Yeah.
Well, Amanda, it's been a pleasure speaking with you today. Thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you. Hopefully we can catch you at some shows out here, and Regina is also close too, so we've got all kinds of time to catch up with you. Thanks again for joining us, and good luck with the tour. We're so excited to see you perform again.
Thank you. We'll see you soon. See ya.
I hope she changes.